Hello and welcome to the Daily Lawyer podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jana Krishnan. I am your host and also the founder of the Daily Lawyer. This is yet another episode in our daily stories series. Those of you who have been following the Daily Lawyer may know that I started TDL to educate and empower people with relevant legal knowledge, relevant legal information, rather, with a view to protect them from the thunderstorms in business and life, so that when rainy day hits, one at least knows what to do, how to respond, or maybe even whom to contact. All our content is truly geared towards this common goal. While we have featured, and towards this end, while we have featured and we'll continue to feature amazing lawyers from across practice areas under our Careers in the Law series, to showcase the sheer breadth of expertise available within the industry, I thought that it is also important to go on the other side, feature business owners, people essentially non-lawyers, to come onto the podcast and discuss issues that they have faced, what I term as thunderstorms in business and life, and understand how they dealt with it. I believe it is important to have conversations like this so we learn from each other's mistakes and can help each other grow, mitigate risks, and generally make safer and more optimal decisions. This is the genesis of the Daily Story series, and I am so proud, so honored to be welcoming our guest today on this series. She's someone I hugely respect. I find her extremely sweet, kind, helpful, but at the same time, so committed to her work and the impact that she makes through it. I'm speaking about Ms. Shaan Khanna, founder of Networking Now India and co-founder of Spicy Sangria events. Networking Now is a 51,000 member strong community and only growing. It is a platform that allows for like-minded people to get quick and relevant solutions. I can attest to that because I'm also a part of Networking Now India. And I'm really happy and proud part of NNI. Shaan is a marketing and media enthusiast, so she really enjoys building and partnering with new and upcoming brands. Her events are carefully curated and serve as platforms for new, exciting concepts, promoting entrepreneurship and homemade brands in the food or consumer space. This is also something I can attest to because I have seen it firsthand. So I'm so happy to welcome Shaan here. She has Shaan, congratulations and thank you so much for coming on the Daily Lawyer podcast. Shaan, hi. Thank you so much for making time and coming on such short notice, first of all, and when it is a festive weekend. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to do this, and the festive weekend is the best time because I'm sitting at home.
I'm glad. I'm so happy. So Shaan, for those who don't know, they do know you a little bit through the introduction, but if you have to say it in your own words, can you tell people a little bit about what is it that you do for a living, and maybe also how did you get here?
Sure. So I run a platform called Networking Now India. It is a startup community for mainly entrepreneurs who want to come together and network, because I believe in positive networking. So networking positively to reach your end business goal. Also, I started this community maybe 6 years ago as a free Facebook group. Over time, we started hosting events. We started a subscription platform. Today, you are part of it, and you know that we meet twice a month. It's a whole lot of fun, but a whole lot of work too. We do workshops, we do networking meetups, we do one-on-one consultation. I also run a fashion startup called Spicy Sangria. My mom is my co-founder in that. That's also a lot of fun because I get to meet a lot of upcoming designers, fashion designers. So I think both are towards the startups and towards freelancers and just helping them reach a bigger platform to grow to their best potential.
I can definitely attest to Networking Now because not just that I met you, but I've met such incredible people. And I keep telling people I'm a Bombayite. This is my home. I have never met, like I've never needed to go out of my comfort zone really to socialize. But I'm really glad I did because I met these incredible people. Now a lot of us are really good friends today. We meet outside, we go for lunches, dinners. So yeah, I am grateful to you that you started.
How sweet, Jenna. Thank you. Thank you.
So Shaan, you have not one, but a couple businesses. What would you say as a business owner are your top maybe 3 priority items as a business owner?
So I focus, Jenna, like, you know, a lot on small businesses and people starting out. But if I had to tell you about my 3 priorities when starting out, I think one is getting your plan in place, something I never focused on. I always started every business just on a whim, you know. So I focus more on small businesses, on businesses just starting out. So I think that the 3 things I can tell you my priorities are when you're just starting a new business. Because when I started all my businesses, I just went on a whim. You know, I never went with a plan. I think a plan is very important. Research your market, have a plan. Know that, you know, is there a gap in the market for what I'm trying to build? Like, will it make a difference to people in the market? That's one. Two, have a plan. So put your monies down on paper, put a financial plan together. I'm terrible with financials, but I realize the value of putting money to paper, because you know your growth, you know whether you're doing this right. Otherwise, you're just constantly going. And small business owners often tell me, we're bad with finances, we're bad with money. So what? Learn it. Today on YouTube, you get everything for free. There are courses you can do. So I think a plan and financials are the two. And the third priority for me would be, I know I said it earlier, but researching your target audience. So research, but knowing who you're actually selling to. What happens is very often we sell to a large audience, not knowing that only half that audience is who's going to buy us. So why not start by targeting just that audience rather than going to the masses?
I really liked what you said about plan, and I can see that this is something that you learned because you have been doing this for a while now. And your answer actually was a perfect segue into my next question, because I wanted to talk to you about, and now that I know you a little bit, I know that you're keen on documentation. So yes, having a business plan, a financial plan, but also when it comes to documentation on your legalities and your registrations. And I know we spoke offline, so you did have a reason to get into, you know, why you believe that documentation is important. But why would you say, why is it now a priority thing for you? Maybe not the top 3, but maybe the 4th, 5th, whatever. Why is documentation important according to you?
So one, Jenna, again, I'm talking like a person who's just started out. I mean, not that I've just started out, but when I did just start out, you know, you're taught so many things in school, but you're not taught financials. You're taught maths, but you're not taught how to apply it to your business. You're taught invest your money. You're not taught how to invest your money. You know, you're taught start a business, you'll have to go register yourself. How? What if I don't have anyone at home to help me? What if I had nobody who could guide me? You know, and what if it was too expensive for me to get a consultant? There should be a handbook on these things. How to get your company registered, how you can actually save money on certain business practices when you just start out as a small business owner. You know, GST is such a big thing, which so many people just don't know. You know, business owners don't know, oh, they don't charge the GST, okay, don't give the invoice. I'm like, that's not how it works. You know, it's a system. You pay your taxes, you should be asking for an invoice. So I think where documentation is concerned, let me use the word clueless. I'd say I was also in that phase where when I just started out, I'd be like, oops, what next? Do I need to document this? Do I need a contract? I think the most important thing business owners and freelancers forget are contracts. You will vouch for this. But like between two people, between two, I have a very close friend of mine who is in the services business, and she sends she's a freelancer, each and every one of her clients a contract. And I used to say, oh God, wow, that's a lot of effort. But you know what? It's the right thing to do, because then your client can never say this was not included or this was included or use more time or, you know, give us more hours. So I think documentation is very important and it needs to be taught. I wish there were classes for this.
Spoke to my heart. You really spoke to my heart on this, because I think this, and you know this, but I don't know if the others know it. I started TDL for this because I have suffered. I'm a lawyer. I'm from Bombay. I have the means to pay lawyers, even because I was working in a company and so and so. But I suffered as a litigant. So if I, with all my advantages, can suffer, then it's, you know, that's why anyway. But you know, you said something very important. You said about your friend that she sends a contract to everybody, and this, because of this, nobody tomorrow, a client can't turn around and say, oh, sorry, you said this, but you know, and that happens to everybody. And I'm sure that has happened to you at some point. So can you maybe describe 1 or 2 or 3 instances that you, because you didn't have the correct documentation, or you probably didn't give it importance, or your registrations were not in place, or whatever, you know, you suffered some kind of loss in life or business because of this?
So I don't think I've really suffered. I wouldn't say suffered, but yeah, a few things. One would be if you're working with a client, I would love to put my hours down. I think that's very important, actually dedicating these many hours to your project, or, I'll only work on these days, or these will be my timings. I don't think that, I think another thing is, Jenna, if you're giving a paper to sign, you and I were discussing this, you're giving a paper to sign. Very often the person just signs without reading, but they will take you seriously. They will take you much more seriously, knowing that, this one knows what she's doing, or there will be people who will say, okay, let me get my legal team to just read it and go through it once. They are taking you seriously. They are actually valuing that you put the time and effort to put down the pointers. That's one. Two, I think that payment structure, a lot of people forget this, having payment structure on paper. Just saying that I'll pay you 15 days, I'll pay you 30 days, I'll pay you 5 days. The advance needs to come before the project is over. So I think these things in the past, I wish that I had that. So I think the main thing is that, like I said, that if somebody's, your payment structure, if somebody knows your timings, hey, listen, I don't want to take calls after 10. We don't work on Sundays. Put this down. Now, the old Shaan used to put it down all on email. I used to always have, I learned this from my mom. Always have it on email, have it in writing, don't just verbally, Today, yes, you can still go back to WhatsApp messages, but I still feel it's important to have a document which just explains. You two could be the most perfect people to work together. Just have that document which explains everything. That's all. So I think another thing is, Jenna, when I started networking now, I started it off a free Facebook group. What happened is people could just add their friends. So if you were a member, you could add your friends and I would add them basis having mutual friends. And then people could, if I saw more than 10 mutual friends, or if it is a person I knew, I would just add them in, right? Now, what happened? A lot of people saw the word networking now. And when I just started, I wasn't registered. I wasn't trademarked. I wasn't registered. And that time I didn't know this was going to become something that, I could actually monetarily make money, monetize it is what I mean. Or like it could be a platform I can actually do events. A lot of people copied the name. A lot of people started Facebook groups with the same name. A lot of people used my logo. I was like, how can you use my logo? And then the funniest is my logos are red and white. They would use the logo in blue and white. They would use the logo in purple and white. And I'm just like, hey, that's still my logo because we have two ends. So what's going on? You can't use it. But Jenna, by sending someone a Facebook message or I don't know the person, I never got a response. Till today, none of them have responded to me. So eventually I had to actually take legal action. That's when I realized, Shaan, get your act together. Even if you don't make this something big, even if tomorrow in 5 years, you don't want to do it anymore. But protect yourself, because it could be something that I want to do lifelong, which I honestly am loving it. So, and I am making money off it, and I have created a business out of it. So it's important, one, to stand up for your rights if somebody is copying you. Two, to learn. I think knowledge, I watch so many YouTube videos. I spoke to other business owners. Today, people are willing to share their experiences, willing to share their contacts. They're willing to say, hey, Shaan, do this, do that. Let us go report it. Today, with digital and tech, you can actually go and report somebody. So ask, find out, don't get scared, but ask, because it's always a solution.
I'm so glad you spoke about this. I know we have spoken about this offline, and when you shared this, I think somebody else on the table also shared that your logo was copied, but I believe, Satvika, she said that her entire content was copied and reposted by somebody else on their Instagram feed and passed it off as their own. So
that's something, Jenna, I've learned from my social media team. They're very strong, touchwood, and they've taught me so many things, that have your logo, have your watermark, don't just put out content thinking no one can copy. Today, we also put up other people's content, but we always make sure to credit. That simple thing of putting a credit there, because today with digital, it's so easy to chapo someone else's content. Take a meme from Google, take a quote from Google, that's different, right? But still, I'm saying, if you're using another small business owner's hard work, learn to credit them. That's all.
Sorry, I was on mute. That's true. I'm so happy, Shaan, and why I'm having these conversations is because, honestly, I'm having these conversations because of networking now. because that is honestly the first time I met people who are outside of my community, whether it's my legal sort of regular lawyers, because we tend to only socialize with lawyers,
Correct.
or it's your school, your college, your family, because we are all Bombayites. And then when I came there for the first time, somebody asked me, but Jenna, why do we need you? You know, you're not my priority. Like, I am a small business owner. I have 10 expenses, but I have only this much money. So you're not my priority. And that's when I realized, oh my God, like we have to be priority. And and then I thought of having this series, because people like you who have faced it, you can say that, listen, I know that we have 10 expenses, but let's take a little bit out of that and put it for legal to to safeguard ourselves. And I mean, in your case,
What happens is people realize your priority when they go through something.
exactly.
Yeah, they don't realize it in the beginning. And again, I'm saying, I'm going back to that point which says, I wish we were taught this in school. You know, you are going to go out and fend for yourself. Either you'll join a family business, or you'll join a, you'll start your own thing. You'll be an entrepreneur. But still, in every case, every step of the way, get your legalities for your business, whether it's a family run business, whether it's been run, know your stuff yourself.
Absolutely. I couldn't say it better than you, for sure. And now that I think you've already alluded to this a little bit in your answers, but I just want to ask so that we can synthesize it a little more. What would you say are the three biggest mistakes that you have seen people make, specifically when it comes to thinking about maybe their documentation, maybe their legalities? And when I'm talking about documentation, I don't only mean documentation as in having your contracts in place, but even, and I know we discussed this about, we were talking about no refund policy, which you put when you're selling a ticket, let's say, on the ticket, or it could be a disclaimer on your email. By mistake, if the email goes to somebody else, and it happens, right? We change by mistake, we have a typo, the spelling is wrong, it goes to somebody else. How do you ensure that that person doesn't take that email? At least there has to be a disclaimer. So something like that. What do you think are the mistakes?
I think value your time. Contracts, if you're a freelancer, have your contracts in place. So for example, with photographers, I've noticed this, we'll give you 100 photos in this much time, or we'll give you 40 photos. So make these very clear, because clients will expect 300 unless you make it clear. We'll give you 12 raw images, 12 edited images, like that. So just be that one thing. I would prioritize also if it's certain co-founders coming together. Don't just start. You think your friends, you think your relatives, don't just start. Have your legalities in place. Have a document where everything is in place. What if someone wants to exit? What if someone, like you brought this up with me, like, what if someone passes away? Or what if, I didn't know that was even in a clause? And like, what if one person just wants to exit early because they want to start something with a family member? Or what if one person's just done working, after a point? So these things, it's good to make clear. Another thing is events, because I'm in the events business. Be very clear about what you are responsible for and what the venues are responsible for, or what your vendors are responsible for, because there's a thin line between who is responsible for what. When the times are good, everyone will be good, but when things are not going well, we'll be like, oh, am I responsible for this? Do I put my hand up? So I think, again, Jenna, I think whatever business you're in, get your legal documents in place. So whether it's a one pager, whether if you're selling a product, some disclaimers about, this, if you eat this product, it's in your own risk, we're not killing you. Or if you're coming to our event, this is what you can expect, but you can't expect a refund. So few things, but have, whether it's a one pager or an understanding between how many ever of you in place.
Yes, and I know this personally, but I was telling somebody the other day also, I loved what you said about four really close friends coming together, but it's important that you want to put everything on paper because you value your relationship, and that's the main thing. It's not so much about what is it that goes into the paper. That's something you'll talk about it, but we value our relationship. We don't want it to get spoiled, and that is why we are doing this.
Correct.
And I really loved what you said. I mean, I told you this the other day also, but I want everyone to know that it is so important. And I have one last question to close off this section, Shaan. What would you say are the pain points in your business, not just in networking now, but also in Spicy Sangria or any of the other businesses that you are a part of?
Okay, so I think one is structure. I'm in a very unorganized sector, let me put it that way. It's something where we are making the rules ourselves, like events is what each event company is doing, who's planning, how it goes. It's my decision. So it's not something which is like, there's no rule book. So that's one. Two, I would say there's no real rule book for what are the guidelines. What do I need to have? Like each venue I go to will have a different license I need to take. They will handle everything differently. So it's not like, hey, these are the 5 things I know I have to take, which is unanimous for every location. That's a big problem. 3 is, I would say, time management. For me, stress and time management, like I was telling you when we started this column, festive season, which is my favorite season, Diwali. I'm just so happy to be sitting at home and chilling. So time.
When you spoke, I know I said the last question, but because you said it, I want to just ask a follow-up. When you said that there is no structure and you're making your own rules, from a documentation perspective, because there are so many people within this ecosystem, right? Which is largely sort of, I wouldn't say unregulated, but the rules are, there are no like very specific laws. There are multiple laws that you have to follow. From that angle, what is it that you would like to see in terms of, if there is a service like that, would be, what is the kind of service that you would like to take from a legal, structural sort of perspective?
So sorry, just repeat that. I thought I didn't understand really.
What is the kind of service that you would like to or what is the kind of product that you would think would make your life easier? Because today, from what I hear you say, that I feel like I'm in, there's so much of ambiguity, right? There are 5 venues, they're asking you different things. So would you like something where you have a document and you say, okay, I don't care what is your requirement, but these are mine. These are my points, something like that.
So I would say 2 things. One is having a handbook. I would love to have a small business starters handbook. If it just explains, listen, you need to get this, and very like dummy kind, like it should be very simple. Imagine you explain to somebody who has no clue, or a course which tells you, hey, have this in place, have this document in place. To do this, you need to apply on this website, get this. Very easy. This is what it will cost you at the end of the day. Have a consultant. That's one. A handbook would be great. The second thing would be actually a consultant. So someone like you who comes in for a small business and on a monthly just checks up. Hey, you got this, you got these papers, literally be like, here's your book. These are a book of documents. If you go anywhere to apply for anything, this is what you got to show. Because what happens is, as a small business, I have to do so many different things. I can't now take care of this also.
Shaan, thank you so much we are done with the main sort of part of the podcast, because this is something that I really want, the conversation that I wanted to have. Now, the second part of the podcast is something I do for myself, because I really enjoy asking these questions.
Okay.
It's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I ask you 5 of something, 4 of something, 3 of something, 2 of something, like that. So 5 productivity tips, apps, whatever that you swear by.
Okay. So productivity as in for your business? Do you mean for your business?
A business, personal, both.
Okay, Level Up, which is a friend of mine, Harshal's app. It's about meditation. It keeps me calm. I've been doing some of the meditations on it. It's very good. 2, I would say every small business owner should get Canva. It's a free designing app. It saves your life. It like literally can save you so much time. So talking about apps, I'm not a very app planning person. Reminders, notes, I put a lot of reminders. I've started forgetting things, but also planning. I've just added more planning and structure to my life. So if I have to wake up at 10 or go somewhere at 10, I know the night before I need to sleep early, or I know these are simple things, but we tend to forget them. So like, I read this, I forgot which book it is, the Atomic Habit one, which said that if you have to go somewhere the next day, or if you have to do something, keep everything ready before you go. So like, even with you, I was getting on this call, I kept the laptop charged and ready and my whole setup ready. Then I went to get ready. So I think these are a few things which have kept me productive and kept me on time and kept me sane. I'd also say use digital wisely. We get so obsessed with our phone, we don't realize that it can actually drive you mad. So use the widely. The other thing for me is I do a lot of learning from visual. So I watch a lot of interviews. I listen to a lot of podcasts. So that's another thing. You should often just switch your phone off and do that.
Wow. You gave me a beautiful segue to my next question when you mentioned Atomic Habits, because my next question is 4 books that you would recommend anyone read or listen to.
I'm not a big reader, to be very honest with you. I read more business books, more, stuff that people tell me to read, but Atomic Habits is my top. It's changed a lot for me. Phil Knight's Shoe Dog Really, really good book. I can't really, Jenna, I can't really remember any other books that.
You want to give any podcast recommendations that you?
Oprah Winfrey. I am obsessed with her. I listen to each and every interview of hers. I have read her books. Buy the books if you can. I forgot what the second one is called, but it's too good, and that changed a lot for me as well. The other podcast that I love, Jay Shetty. I know people think he's extremely cliched and like this, but I
No,
love Jay Shetty.
yeah.
He's
And he
great.
gets like really good guests and he
Yeah.
asks very insightful questions.
So the thing for me is I learn a lot from conversation. So that's why when you said podcast, I was like, I'm in. I learn a lot from people talking to other people, like two people just conversing. Doesn't have to be famous, doesn't have to be celebrities, but just discussing business, discussing your ways. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Definitely check out Oprah Winfrey because she's my favorite. Indra Nooyi's book, I loved. Michelle Obama. I loved her book. So these are the kind of books that I've read. I'm not a big reader, as you can see, but when it's something that really, people tell me and it touches my heart, that. But Shoe Dog, if you're a business owner, please.
Yes,
please,
yes,
please.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's so well written and also so honest. What I really liked about that book is it's a very impartial perspective. Like when you look at yourself, very difficult to put yourself like the way he's described himself, extremely impartial,
Yeah. And there's another book on the Amazon, The Journey of Amazon, the founder. Read that. I read that. It's really good.
Oh, okay. I haven't read it. I will read it though.
Yes, read it. It's
okay.
really good.
3 tips that you would like to give young graduates or students?
I would say quit this instant gratification, quit this whole thing of just getting results in 1 minute. It's not going to be possible. This whole, today people are like, you can just be an influencer, you can be a blogger. Yes, you can. I also think opportunities are endless and it's great to be able to do anything. If you're a singer, you can really hone that at a young age. If you're a sportsman, but you can also be an influencer and blogger. Yeah, great. But don't think by just putting regular content, by advertising your page, by constantly being out there and being a 24/7, it's not, it's instant gratification is my biggest thing. Like people just expect the success and the results overnight. You don't realize that people have worked very, very hard to reach where they are. So that's one. Another thing is, I would say focus. There's no focus, right? So there's like, I can switch jobs very easily. 3 months. I want to do this. I've just come to learn. Let me work remotely. I'll do it on the phone. I'm very good with digital. There's a way for everything. We've seen our parents' generation and our grandparents' generation. It's hard work to reach where they did. So again, focus. And third is knowledge. I feel like, there's no interest to learn before jumping into something. So please do as many courses as you can, learn the market where you're going to eventually be. So if you've studied abroad, come to India and work in few places so you know the pulse of the market. Don't just jump into a job thinking because I worked there, it'll be very easy for me here. No.
Very true and very honest. Like I can see that your answers are actually driven by experience.
Yeah.
And I so much I resonate with what you say. Even in the legal side, when I have interns, they all want this and they want to read, but only for that 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They want a YouTube video.
A quick buck.
Yeah, you want to watch a YouTube video on this law, which will be like at most for an hour, but I will not spend 10 hours reading the law because it's too much, So I really relate to what you said about instant gratification. Okay. 2 life lessons that you have learned so far.
Oh, that's a deep one. Every failed opportunity is an opportunity to move forward. So this is something I learned, bad times bring good times. And I practice a lot of Buddhism, Jenna. And, they say like a lotus blooms in muddy water. So don't look at your failures and your bad days as bad days. Tomorrow, a better day is going to come. And this is a big learning I've had in the last 4 or 5 years. Bloom where you're planted. Honestly, I know it's a quote, but bloom where you're planted. So make the most of every bad situation. I was talking to you about this before, how I had my own podcast and I didn't market it properly. And people think I have a community. So, it should be automatically successful. No, but I did it wrong. But I'm using that failure and this time to learn and go next. So that's one. too hard work pays off. That's to 100%. Like, just believe in yourself and keep going. Like, you are consistent, you work hard, it'll make all the difference. And third, believe more in yourself than you believe in others, because I feel like a lot of us push others forward. We forget about ourselves. So don't forget about you.
I just I just posted a quote on my Instagram stories yesterday about how I want to be kinder to myself, because I can completely relate to you when you said that we do believe more in others than we believe in ourselves. The best advice that you have been given.
This, my first one, that rainy days bring sunny days. Every day can't be like a bad day. Every day can't be, I mean, it's your perspective and your thought process in life as well. So it should not be that we get so bogged down by our bad days and failures, and oh god, this went badly, that we make it worse. We keep going on for 2 days. No, every day is a new beginning. You are the one who can make the change in your life, and I truly believe this. You are the state of your mind. So if you are going to think, today's a bad day, even tomorrow will be a bad day, oh, this person is not there, you'll keep going in that rut. No. Bloom where you're planted and make the best of the worst situation. And I've learned this recently, and I've been doing it.
I think bloom where you're planted should be the tagline of the podcast.
Yes.
So
yes.
really, it's true. Because I never used to understand the meaning of that quote. Honestly, I used to see it all over, but I would be like, what is the meaning of this? And like you say, no, you can't, it's very difficult to bring yourself out of
very
failure.
difficult. Very difficult.
And now that
we are small business owners, right? So for example, as business owners, and I keep talking about that because I focus and I work a lot with them. I realize that, if one day sales are bad, or if something hasn't worked, or, Diwali may I got less orders, it's like, should I change my business strategy? No. Times change, innovate, have patience, it'll work. And then last minute you're scrambling and then like, oh, it worked. But have that faith and patience.
Thank you so much for giving me your time. You've been so generous with your time. Thank you. So kind. And I said that in the introduction, you're one of the kindest, most helpful people I know.
How sweet.
At the same time, you're so committed to your work and and to the impact that you make through your work. So I really, really appreciate you for that.
Thank you.